It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. Of course, we want to remind you the Shop Report is brought to you by Rocket Digital Media. It's the one-stop shop for all your digital marketing needs. You can look them up on Facebook at RDM Detroit, 1D2E Detroit, or you can slide on over to the website, rocketdigital.net. That's ROCKIT digital.net. Make sure when you're there, while you're there, you're telling them BSJ sent you. And for my folk out there in TV land, you can't do that. We're getting all these notifications. Thank you, sir. My gosh, for my folk out there in TV land, this dude right here. Unbelievable.
Oh,
If you want to
man.
leave your questions or comments during today's program, by all means, please do so. And we'll throw it up on the screen. And y'all know what's coming next. If you're one of those folks who likes to leave questions or comments that are indignant or ignorant in nature, won't be seen on this screen. Matter of fact, here's what you'll get.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Absolutely not. And with that being said, joining me on the program today, unfortunately, Brother Rich and Doc are not with us today, is my cat from up north, Joy James, a.k.a. Scott Foster. Tell the people what you say.
12-0, my record with Boston.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course. We already know how that go down. Scott Foster Donaghy is what I should have said. Well, hopefully people that are out there that's viewing us here, we waiting on my man TJ, Shadow Man. You know, this is why we call him Shadow Man. Sometimes he show up, sometimes he don't. But we'll see. We'll keep our fingers and our knuckles crossed, okay? Yeah, got you. But anyway, like I said earlier, Doc and Brother Rich are not with us today, so let us start the show. All right. Up first is Real Talk, as in movie reels, right? Double J, and if you're out there watching and listening, you can weigh in on this as well. Name 3 movies you would suggest people to see or go view or check out that you believe they may not have seen.
Wow. Are there any? You see, when you do this,
Well, don't say when I do this, because I sent everybody in the text. Don't make me.
No. There were no parameters though, and that was the part I was kind of waiting on. Are we going like this year? Are we going all time? Or
3 movies? It don't matter.
3 movies that people may,
because I got 3. I wrote
seen.
3 down. See, that's just it. See, you all are expecting. See, you're expecting me to do the dirty work for you. No, I'm not going to do that. Nope. It could be 1925. It could be 2099. Whatever you said. 3 movies that you think.
3 movies.
No, 3 movies that you've seen that you think others. When you're talking about movies and genres or whatever the case may be, you're like, man, did you see such and such? And they be like, no, I never saw. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man. I shouldn't even have to explain myself, man. Cut me in, cut out.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Ones that I think people haven't seen. That's the problem, right? Is haven't seen.
That you think they haven't seen. Oh yeah, well, okay, I got you. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, that's right. That's right. No Lucia today, baby.
Yeah, why don't you lead us off with one?
Yeah, you ain't gonna get no help because I got 3
all
right here.
Electrolytes. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Let's see.
Matter of fact, I actually got 4. I actually got 5 to tell you the truth. See, this is how I know y'all don't do no homework. This is why I do this to y'all the way I do what I do to y'all, just to see if you've been paying attention.
All right.
Should I cue the Jeopardy music? Just saying.
I'm gonna go one that I feel like people haven't seen. Well, this is the trouble with that, right? Gosh, this is brutal.
Yeah, I know it is.
You know, fine. I'll go. I'll go way back.
That's right.
Machine. Ocean's 11, but the original.
Aha. Okay, that's a good one. Yep, I'll give you. All right, I'll give you that. A lot of folks didn't know that it was an original. Just like Birth of a Nation. A lot of people didn't know that Birth of a Nation there was original to Birth of a Nation. But go ahead.
And then that'll be my way back pick. Everything else I'll try to keep relatively up to date. The second I'll go. Gosh, how about Casablanca? Do you think everybody's seen that?
Probably. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's kind of tricky. I don't know.
And then my last one, I'll go. Oh, I'm torn. It's really between two, but I'm going to go Dunkirk.
Oh, yeah, Dunkirk. Yeah, Dunkirk is a good one. All right. Okay, I got you. Dunkirk is a good one. Indeed, it is.
So there you go. I gave you about 3 different decades at the very least.
Well, it wasn't necessarily decades, but okay, you basically three. You gave me 3 you didn't think people might see. Okay, I'm going to give you my 3 plus 2 bonuses.
Let's hear it.
First off, the movie Nobody. Did you ever see that?
I have not.
Absolutely, yes. Shout out to Barbershop Jay. Finally, I get to pat myself on the back one time.
Let's check this one out.
Yeah. Let me pat myself on the back. A lot of people, believe it or not, have not seen the movie. And you know why? The title throws everybody off. It threw me off. Now, I have this app here on my smart TV. I don't know how smart it is. I asked it if we could do 3 plus 5, and it said 27. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, and it's not like it's a legal thing. It's for most of you folks out there who might want to ditch cable or something or another, or your streaming services and whatnot. Actually, you might want to check them out. I'm gonna give them a free plug right here. WYATV is a service. They charge like $30 a month. You can sign up for up to like 6 months or whatever the case may be. It's a pretty fair service along with your internet or whatever. It's cheaper than all them other big name folks when you put it all together. Even YouTube TV. When I had them when they first came out, YouTube TV, by the way, didn't mean to give them a plug, but anyway, it just slipped out, so to speak. When they first came out, and they were right up my alley. Then I go to look at my bill one day. It went from $25 a month to $25,418.65. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm like, what? Oh, that's just our service fee. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, who you got on your staff? Joe Biden or somebody? My gosh. Anyway.
What were you watching, huh? Those the extras, it sounds like.
Yeah, trust me. That's why I was upset. It was PBS. You know what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah. But anyway, WY, the letter W, the letter Y, the letter A, TV. Sign up for their service. But anyway, they give you like whatever the newest releases, movies, some movies that just now came out to the theater, they have them on this app, in your movies section or whatever. And I mean, I get some of the latest stuff. So anyway, the movie Nobody was on there, and I'm scrolling through my selections, and I'd had the thing for I don't know however many months, and I kept passing by this movie. I'm like, Nobody. The title is disinteresting. You know what I mean? Just I'm like, what? Who wants to watch something like that? So one day I'm just bored. I said, I didn't watch this movie. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I'm telling you, I saw the movie, man. I'm telling anybody and everybody about it. And they're like, what? What are you? I said, you gotta believe me, you will skip past it because of the title. But you watch it, it's one of the best action thriller packed, of course, obviously some guns and some blood and some violence and all that kind of stuff in it. But man, I'm telling you, the movie it's an exceptional movie. Threw me all the way off. The second movie is called The Outfit. Did you ever see The Outfit?
No, you're
BSJ is batting 1,000 right now. Say that again.
No, you're finding some deficiencies here.
Okay, yeah. At the end of the day,
Well, this is where we're gonna blame Megan. So I introduced her to The Man in the High Castle, and it's currently being binge watched. So there you go.
What happened now? Whoa! What's the High Castle?
So The Man in the High Castle, essentially based off a book, of course.
Oh, okay, got you. Oh, I can't hear you. Nope, you went out. No sound. No sound. None.
How about now?
Yeah, your mic was muted. What
Yeah,
you,
it fell. It
oh wow, yeah.
happens.
Miss Alva, can you please remove the sauce? Oh my gosh. Already on the Lucia? Come on now. What were
So
you saying? Go ahead.
basically, it's if the Allied forces had lost, what the world would look like, and so these
Oh,
it
okay.
naturally introduces characters that live in it, and essentially your West Coast is Pacific states, East Coast, of course, is ran by the Reich. However, there's these films going around that show what is essentially our reality, and then essentially at the conclusion of season one, basically one of the prominent characters, and the only way I can kind of describe this is kind of meditates into that alternate reality, which is our current reality that we had won. So
Hmm.
yeah,
All
so
right.
again, left on a kind of a cliffhanger there, but apparently each video is different, showing different elements of it. And it is makes for interesting TV, and certainly based on her reactions, very dramatic conclusions to each episode.
Yeah, it seems like Miss Alva is a hard sell. Is
Oh
she a
yeah,
hard sell?
yeah, absolutely. So if she's bought in, I'll
Oh,
co-sign it.
then it's oh, okay. All right. Well then, oh, okay. Well then it's a must see then. I had to put that on my list. But check this out. The movie, the outfit, once again, the title will throw you completely off. Then once you get into it, like it starts off kind of slow. And it starts and slow enough that you'll grab the remote. If you're one of them people who love the channel surf type of deal, like when you're watching the game, some people who just got, I don't want to say, anyway, I won't say it, but you just can't sit still. One of them kind of people. Yeah. You start getting into it and you be like, oh man, this ain't about nothing. And you'll go to something else. But and I'm saying that because I started to do that.
Wow.
I selected the movie. Yeah, I selected the
I
movie.
to pick the movie, and then you yourself abandoned the movie.
But wait, no, I didn't. I started to abandon the movie. But here's the deal though. On this app that I have, and they got the movies up there or whatever. Of course, you can see the description, obviously, of what the movie, to give you a brief description of what the movie's about. So it was the description of the movie that made me save the movie to my favorites. Get it? Got it? Right. So on my off day, I said, let me go through. I hadn't done much watching TV lately. I said, let me watch this, which movie I'm gonna watch. So I went to that one. Obviously, it was in my favorites. It starts off slow. I'm like, oh no, here we go. No, let me go to something else. But where I was sitting at, my remote was further away from me than I would wanted to reach to go get it. So I was like, man, I'm not even about to go get the, but I'm glad I didn't get up to go get the thing, because no sooner did it kind of start off slow, man, it took a turn. And I'm talking about a turn that once it turned, you was not turning the channel for nothing in the world.
So
I forget the guy's full name in the movie or whatever. But anyway, this guy in the movie, his name is Leonard. And Leonard is an English tailor who makes suits on London's famous Savile Row. Not Seville with an E, Savile Row. He must outsmart a dangerous group of criminals to survive a fateful night. Believe me when I tell you, when I talk about the recommended readings and whatnot, I am recommending that if you have not seen this movie, if you're one of those folks who have not seen this movie, please put the outfit on your to-do list. Nobody, if you haven't seen it.
Well, all right. So what would you compare the outfit to? Because
You
based
can't.
on kind of, wow, no, come on.
Listen, you're talking about a guy who loves Tarantino.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who loves Denzel. You're talking about a guy who loves the Mission Impossibles.
Right.
I'm come on now.
Is this more? But that's what I'm saying. Like, is it comparable? Not comparable, but does it show elements of oh gosh, what's the UK essentially MI6, MI5 type of group that they made like 3 or 4 movies off of. I'm trying to think.
Oh, you're
Recently,
talking about the
oh, why
oh
is that slipping my mind now? See,
yeah, yeah.
you look at this now. I'm gonna need some of
You
the.
talking about Kingsman?
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Oh, okay, Kingsman. Those are both. I like both of those. Those are pretty good. Actually, yeah, and I think you're asking that because I said this guy in this movie was a tailor. Is that kind of where you kind of
Correct.
going?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. 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 There are. Yes. Okay. There are elements. There are elements.
Cool.
But this one,
what about Transporter 2 elements?
no, 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 none of that.
Okay.
None of that.
All right.
No, 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 no transporter. No transporter elements. But the Kingsman is about as you might. That's close enough.
Oh, that's
You get-
great.
yeah, that's
Hey.
close enough. But but even still, you can't even compare. The only thing you can compare to the Kingsman is the fact that this guy is a tailor.
That's awesome.
Okay. And there is some, some action, some guns, and so on and so forth. But the way they did it is it blew me away. I was outdone. I was like, wow, okay. I was not expecting that at all. Man, listen, I'm one of them people. I like mystery. Okay. I like to have to figure things out. I mean, I loved Clue, the movie Clue and the game. I like stuff like that. And I grew up as a kid reading Nancy Drew, the Three Detectives, Encyclopedia Brown, The Great Brain, and things of that nature. I love trying to figure stuff out, especially when it comes to my movies. Okay, who did what and what, obviously to see whether when it gets to the end, whether or not if you got it right, well, if you were on the right track or whatever. Man, I could not. When I thought I had it figured, no, it took another turn. It was a maze, but the movie was amazing. So again, if you out there listening, watching, or whatever, and you one of them folks that love cinema, Turner Classic Movies and things, AMC and that type of deal, and just a movie buff, definitely put The Outfit on your to-do list. And then Marauders. Did you see Marauders?
That one I have seen.
Oh my gosh. All right. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Come on down. Woo. Oh man. Okay. So you 1 for 2, basically. 1 for 3. Is that what it is? 1 for 2. Okay. Got you. No, 1 for 3. All right.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, you know what? Batting 333 right there is that's an all-star.
Okay. Don't get beside yourself now. Slow it down there, young fella. Slow it down. Just for all those out there who haven't seen it yet, and I'm gonna throw in my 2 bonuses as well. Marauders, it didn't start off slow at all. I mean, right out the gate, I was like kind of sitting down on the couch, sitting back a little bit with my popcorn, obviously. And then when the way the opening scene came, and the way just the first 5 minutes, I sat up like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, oh, what we got here? And then from then on, man, it just take you on a wild ride. But anyway, the Marauders. When a bank is hit by a brutal heist, all evidence point to the owner and his high-powered clients. But as a group of FBI agents digs deeper into the case and the deadly heists multiple continue, it becomes clear that a larger conspiracy is at play. Man, listen to what I'm telling you. Oh, as a matter of fact, I got 3 bonuses. Now that I just said that, something else came to mind. My 3 bonuses are 2 of them are this current era. I think one came out last year and this other one came out this year. Between 2021 and 2022. White Elephant with Bruce Willis. Did you see that? Oh, you saw that? That was good, wasn't it?
You're a big Bruce Willis fan, aren't you? That's 2 now.
But listen, but hold on. Let me take.
He was in Ocean's 12.
I know he was. Let me take a sip off my sauce. It's just water, people. It's just water. I'm not like Double J and TJ. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be.
This is electrolytes and sugar.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's what you told the bartender, right? Give me electrolytes and sugar. But anyway, it's not so much that I'm a big Bruce Willis fan, but a lot of Bruce Willis's action type movies, they worth to watch, especially Red. Did you see Red 1 and 2? Oh man, it don't get no better than that.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm lying. Okay. So it's not, you can't fault the man. And then I'm a big Jason Statham guy too. But anyway, as we
but
go,
you poo-pooed a little bit on my transporter plug.
no, I did not. I said the transporter. I'm talking about in relation to the outfit. It was no transporter type elements in there. No,
that could have been a bonus pick.
no, absolutely not. The transporters, all of the transporters are.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, Jason Statham is what? Are you kidding? He's one of my favorites. Absolutely one of my favorites. But White Elephant, starring Bruce Willis, man, this movie. Now, but you know what though? To me, I can't speak for you, but to me, towards the end, it kind of tailed off at the end. I was expecting kind of a different ending than what took place. But the begin and the middle portions were definitely uh, worthwhile, if you want to call it that. And Ambulance. Did you ever see Ambulance?
that I have not.
What? Where are you at, man? Where's Miss Megan at? You never saw Ambulance? Where's Miss Megan at?
You're talking about films that
That
come out. Came out an hour ago. There's no way I would be able to have time for that. I told you, you've been stuck binge watching a show. If you want critical thinking and to try to look, you're trying to connect 5 different storylines, and then on top of that, there's a parallel universe. I mean, come on, like that. Your head literally is like Exorcist, the first one. Spinning around, trying to keep up with this.
Okay, all right, but you still should have saw these movies. Unbelievable. But anyway, Ambulance is a very, very, very unbelievable film. Again, the title is contrary to how the whole thing plays out, but I'll give you a little brief description here. Needing money to cover his wife's medical bills. We've kind of seen that storyline play out in movies before too, but it's a kind of a twist and a turn.
John Q.
Yeah, okay.
Denzel, come on.
That's why. But I'm just trying to tell you, man. Listen. The way that they did this, man, is worth the watch. Needing money to cover his wife's medical bills, a decorated veteran teams up with his adoptive brother to steal $32 million from a Los Angeles bank. However, when their getaway goes spectacularly wrong, the desperate thieves hijack an ambulance that's carrying a severely wounded cop and an EMT worker. Caught in a high-speed chase, the 2 siblings must figure out a way to outrun the law while keeping their hostages alive. Believe me when I tell you, you want to check out Ambulance. And then last but not least, for our real talk movies that you might want to see if you haven't already seen, that I would suggest that you see, Glengarry Glen Ross. Did you ever see that? Now, I want to go ahead and poo-poo on it. I dare you.
No, I wasn't going to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and you weren't going to. Why? Because you can't?
I would say someone with an alternative taste could, less cultured, if you will, more, what as it pertains to well-roundedness in films. But no, I'm not. Dare I say I'm not that superior as it, within the industry, if you will.
Well, I'll say this. I know people who are horror buffs. I know people who are romance buffs. The Humphrey Bogart, that type of deal. I know people who are comedy. All different types of genres. I mentioned Glen Ross. They throw their hands up as in, oh yeah, unquestionable. That is a classic. I want to say that's an all-time classic for real. That might be. It could arguably, definitely top 10. Arguably top 5. And you know me, I don't do top lists. What I'm just trying to tell you. Arguably.
You really think that highly?
Man, are you serious? Listen, it was the cast members, number one. Every cast member in that movie. Oh. Are you what? Oh, come on now.
I'm not gonna say no, but I think all-star casts sometimes are that's not always a guarantee, right? There's
okay, but it depends.
Those that.
Yeah, but it depends on who the cast. It depends on the cast. Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Alec Baldwin, Kevin Spacey, Ed Harris, Alan Arkin, Jonathan Pryce, Bruce Altman, Lee French, even if you don't think Barry Rolfman, Neil Jones, Murphy Dunn, George Choang, Dana Lee, Julie Payne, Gregory Snigoff, excuse me, Paul Butler. Okay, you might have a couple, but the first few I named. That's a come on now. We come on, man. We talking about movies. We talking about the movie industry's top of the line. Al Pacino off the rip. I mean, my gosh. I mean, let us not even mention Heat, him and De Niro. That's definitely top 5. Would you put Reservoir Dogs top 5?
No, I can't. I'm no, I can't. I can't do that.
What?
There's two. You're in De Niro's top 5, or in general top.
I'm talking about in generality.
That's why I'm saying you absolutely cannot. There's no way. I don't even know
Reservoir
if you
Dogs?
can put that in his
Double J.
top 5.
Don't say that out loud. You know, it's people who watch this program, right? I don't want that. I'm not giving out your
No,
address or
no,
nothing
no.
like that, but they will find
top 10,
you, man.
Top 10. I don't think I'm going to argue that. Top 5 is just so in there that there's look. How about this, Mr. List? You always say, "Well, what's the basis? What is our
okay?" Oh,
yeah,
boy.
see, there
Okay.
it is.
All
there
right.
it is. I think based on my response and where you're, yours here, you have some kind of foundational element here within your own criteria that I'm missing.
Man, cut me in and cut it out. Let me fix my glasses. Let me fix my glasses so I can hear what you really said. Man, don't, oh, please. Cut it out, man. Absolutely not. I'm just saying. If you look, that's why your screen froze. Look at him, people. That's what happens when he get over here telling tall tales like Commander McBride. Yeah, he starts to freeze up on us. I'm just saying in general, it's not necessarily my foundation, so to speak. And if you want to say my foundation is if you are a movie buff. I'm not saying I'm a historian or nothing to that, but I love a good sit down. I love a good movie.
There's no way.
There's no way what?
It's great. The problem is you're talking about 100 years worth of greatness. And
okay, all right. Well, you didn't. All right, so there you go. That's the X factor. Okay, you're going back all the way since the beginning of cinematic time. So to speak. Okay, throughout the years. Okay, so now you're talking about Gone with the Wind type of stuff. That's definitely okay. All right. Oh, okay. I got you. All right. So Reservoir Dogs might not be top 5. All right, top 10 maybe. All right, top 5. All right. Since you put it that way. See, I didn't know you was gonna go back that far. That's my bad, my mistake. Okay, yeah. Oh wow, yeah.
See,
now
when you
you're
throw it
talking
under that into that context, it completely makes sense where my stance is on it.
Yeah, overall. Well, I couldn't argue that. No, I can't argue that because now you're talking about. Oh boy, you talking about since the beginning of cinema, so to speak, or at least when sound and movie.
Yeah,
we'll
move past Chaplin.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, now you're talking Sidney Poitier. Oh my gosh, In the Heat of the Night, the movie, which of course.
Yeah. Well, come on. What are we talking about? TNT.
Well, of course, the TV show was obviously based off the movie, but the movie in and of itself is a classic.
Right.
Yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
I just feel like we're sliding What's Eating Gilbert Grape in there. That's just all.
Huh? I don't know about that.
No, I just that's what it feels like when you're saying out of 100 years.
Okay. No.
Don't get me wrong. That could be arguably. Does it display DiCaprio's true spectrum? Have we underappreciated him? I think so.
He's another one of my favorites. Catch Me If You Can is a classic.
Look at that. Oh, we I think we've gone on with just his before. His, in a
did we
past show? I'm almost positive we did because we said Gangs of New York. We did all kinds of things.
No, we listed. I don't know if we did his. I have to go back through the archives and see. Yeah, I have to check that out. But you talking about the last 80, 90 years of movies? Yeah, I'm with you. Reservoir Dogs is not top 5, but it's up there.
I mean, you could put The Godfather in there.
Yeah, but I see that. The reason why I wouldn't put The Godfather in there, to me, that's a separate category. That's a series.
Well, it became a series.
Well, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah, I'll be okay. Yeah. Well, in that case, now you're talking about Star Wars.
You see? You see? It's this is a wormhole that we're
Okay,
are we gonna
yeah.
go down this rabbit hole? Like
No. But no, we're not gonna go down this rabbit hole. But what we are getting ready to do is take a commercial break. 30 seconds, that is. Don't y'all touch
Vertigo.
that remote.
Citizen
Oh,
Kane. All right.
oh man, save it. Yeah, gotcha. Unbelievable.
It's Kate Cunningham, and you're watching the Shop Report.
It's Chris Murray, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Touch that dial.
Max McKee, you're dropping in on the Shop Report.
Hey, I'm Billy Butler, and thank you for watching the Shop Report. Hey guys, I'm Les Norman, former Kansas City Royal, and you're watching the Shop Report.
Barbershop Jay, Quentin Hines, Super Bowl champion. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm on.
Commander Brown, Detroit Rivers Mountain Training, and I'm watching the Shop Report.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move things right along. We're gonna go off into what he said. That's up next on the. All right, what he said, and this. What are you doing there? Oh, cut it out.
The music was still playing on mine. There's a tape delay.
Yeah, got you. Anyway, what he said this week's what he said is Michael Jordan, or none other than Mr. Michael Jordan himself.
Oh no.
I won't say GOAT or no none of that, because we got certain people that follow the show or whatever it is, and that's a whole nother 25-hour debate that we don't have time for. You know what I mean? I got to make pancakes and donuts in the morning. But anyway, here's what he said. I've missed more than 9, and I'm pretty sure everybody this watches basketball at least is familiar with what he said, but I'm just throwing it out here because I find it interesting. I'm trying to figure out the game we're watching now if it still applies. What are you doing over there? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. And the reason why I'm using what he said here, you flip the page or turn to the left or turn to the right, whichever side you want to turn to is fine with me. You see all of this movement in the NBA now. This guy saying, I don't want to be here. And you just got to the place last week. And that guy saying, no, trade me. We talked about player empowerment already in the NBA. But at what point, when the going gets tough, these so-called tough guys are not going to get gone? Huh?
Well, look, I'm going to mix around what you said here. Because
well, speaking of mixers, I mean, what you got in that cup over there? Yeah, I bet.
According to some, right?
Name names.
Okay.
Yeah, name names. Yeah, I see where that's
going. So here, no. I'm going to quote Albert Einstein in saying, "You never fail until you stop trying." So, where does that sit?
You mean amongst the Today BA guys?
That's correct, because based on his now here we go with what's going on with KD and Kyrie. They, the one has the bird out of the cage. GIF. Have we decided? I think I'm going to go with GIF. The other, on the other hand, does his typical soliloquy, right? Where we need one of those like cereal box code breakers.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right.
So Da Vinci's code, it's Durant's code. With those that have been around me, that have been in the gym, etc. They're taking shots at each other.
That's my point. That's my point, man. At some point,
but who's wrong? Kyrie stuck to his guns. Look, bro, Rich will fight that to the end until he's out of breath again. This is worse than the rookie dinners. I'm not going to fight Kyrie on what he stood for. Right? No, I'm cool with that. You did what you did.
All right.
And so why is this sour? Right? Remember, when he was deciding, was he going to opt in or opt not? I thought it was strange when KD said, well, he's doing what he wants for his family. Almost like implying like, okay, well, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. But in reality, if he if he opts in, wouldn't that kind of suggest, hey, I want to play together still? Oh, meanwhile, then Ben Simmons enters the chat, with a like, I'm ready, SpongeBob, I'm ready type thing.
Yeah.
Why he's still fishing out there.
That Brooklyn Nets situation is a complete mess.
So my point is,
it is.
Who's not trying under this circumstance? Durant is trying to win. Durant was there. Durant put in the time. Durant is about 2 inches or 2 centimeters of a shoe length away from having potentially a completely different story here.
Yeah. But didn't he sit out a year though?
For a torn Achilles.
Oh, well, that's right. Yeah. The non-contact.
Remember, he came back with Golden State, ruptured it against Toronto. So
yeah, I forgot.
This was not like I just sat because, or I went to Toronto for a birthday party when I'm against COVID. And these days you can't even get into Toronto like that.
Yeah, I know.
Believe me, I tried and I had to, and yeah. Anyway, let's just say I was on the first flight out. Nevertheless, so my question is, who you can't. The funniest part about this, Kyrie opting in. There's this triangle here with these three.
Because if he wants out, why opt in?
Correct. He could have opted out and went right to LA, signed for $6 million, and been done. Done. He's there. Now, he's trying to force a Sean Marks buyout. He's trying to force a buyout to get some of his money back that he lost. That's the only legitimate or logical conclusion.
It'll be way more than $6 million.
Here's why. The only way he can get moved is if KD goes first. And the big if around that is you can't put a package together with Phoenix that consists of DeAndre Ayton because the NBA rules say you can't have two players that opted in to their rookie extensions, which is what Ayton is doing and what Ben Simmons did. So Ben Simmons entering the chat could be merely saying, cut me and pay me $100 million to go away again, and I'll bother somebody else, or possibly be out of basketball. I don't know, whichever comes first. So you can't move him. Kyrie, if he really wanted to, he wants to get his money back. He wants the $17 million that he lost. You can't move Kyrie. There's no way Sean Marks is going to say without a third trading partner. Otherwise, if you're also Sean Marks, you could say, well, Katie, I don't care where you want to go.
Yeah, but seems like to me he would be more apt to let KD go where he wants to go as opposed to Kyrie. I think they were more disgruntled and disgusted with Kyrie than they were KD.
Of course they were, and that's, in my opinion, that's why Kyrie opted in to say, I don't care where you send me on a rental. I just crushed my own value. No one's going to give you anything worth it other than dead money. So just buy me out for $17 million, which is the money I lost last year, and I'll go take the first flight to LA, which is a disaster.
I don't know. I talked to our GM, Mr. R.C. Stafford, in a text thread here a couple of days ago. Actually, no, about 2-3 hours ago. And I asked him, and he says, because he got the inside track, so to speak, to a few of these deals and whatever. And he said the way it's looking, look like Kyrie will end up being a Laker.
That's right. But the only way that happens, it could have already been done. Like we just said, if he wouldn't have opted in, he would be there now. Does KD request a trade if Kyrie's gone? If Kyrie had opted out, does KD request a trade?
I don't know. That's a good question. But see, at the end of the day, I'm not even sure why does KD want out now? Do they not like Nash or something?
Yes. Well, I can tell you why. KD, that's not KD's guy. Remember, it was Kyrie that said we don't need a coach.
Oh, because you know what? There's a couple of other people in other teams in play all of a sudden for Kyrie. From my understanding, is Philly, and who's the other team?
It's all short-term rental. all short-term rental. Who's willing to give us what? Remember that again, all that has to happen is
even if he goes to the
lineup.
Lakers, that's still a short-term rental.
No. Well, depending on how long Russ's contract is.
Okay, that part I don't know. I have to ask
To my knowledge, I think it was a player option for this year, and after that, it might be toast. So, if that's the case, then Kyrie can re-up the deal, essentially as a restricted free agent going into next season.
Okay, so like I asked Rick, RC, where do you see KD end up going?
Miami doesn't have the pieces that they are going to be willing to give up. So you've seen Miami also make a couple moves since then, kind of implying we're not in the running for this.
Okay,
we're not trying. We know KD has the house in Miami too. So that was why, right?
Okay, of course.
He conveniently picks the 2 number 1 overall seeds going into the playoffs last season.
Where do you see him in Phoenix, maybe?
And this is where you need a third partner. So the most logical says the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Because all of the picks and whatnot.
They possess the picks. Which would, of course, go to Brooklyn. Ben Simmons goes to OKC. KD goes to Phoenix. Ayton, the other Bridges, and the other gentleman, I think he plays small forward off the bench, younger kid. He would
go to Brooklyn.
Yep.
Other than that, KD is nowhere for him to really go.
This is where it gets interesting. Because there are other teams that have assets but many don't possess the problem. One of the issues is, remember, his deal is like $44 million a year.
KD's deal.
Yeah. So you have to make the money match as well. So you have to have, his asking price is 2 All-Stars. Most teams don't have that. That's why,
Phoenix is probably the only
legitimate option.
But Phoenix wouldn't be giving up 2 All-Stars, would they?
Hasn't Ayton been an All-Star in the past?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, that would be one. And then I don't know if Bridges was ever any kind of defensive player, anything like that. Okay. So, but that's the most legitimate option.
Okay. So then let's say Kyrie lands with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Are they not then the front runners for next year's finals?
Of course. You have Russ coming off the bench. You have Kyrie there with your starting 5, in which we already know who those guys are.
Hold on, Double J. Look who decided to weigh in.
Uh-oh.
Man, cut me in and cut it out. If you checking this
he
out,
he heard a Laker comment and it was like the bat signal went off.
Yeah, then all of a sudden, what it do, man? Go ahead on, man. Get on out of here. He gonna say what it do. You should have said what you thought about Kyrie going to the Lakers, even though he already kind of said it in the thread.
Mm-hmm.
Now he back. Now, oh man, when he get back on the show, all we're gonna see is purple and gold. I can guarantee you that.
No, of course.
Yellow, gold, purple socks, shoes, pajamas, teacups, paper plates, all type of stuff, like a doggone Lakers birthday, Hollywood birthday party.
Can you blame him? They're off-season champs. Last decade running.
So they the front runners. On paper, obviously they would be the front runner on paper, and then of course that would be all around the sports circuits, the ESPNs, the NOPNs, LPNs, RNs, and the whole 9. But in reality, let's say Kyrie goes to the Lakers. Who would be formidable enough to deal with it? Because you still got AD over there now.
What do you mean?
Essentially, the Lakers don't have to move no pieces. If Kyrie gets the buyout, he can just go on the wall. He can walk. He can go on over there. Okay. Yeah. So now you're talking Kyrie, Bron, and AD. Okay. Is that enough to be a Golden State or a Clippers now with John Wall? Potentially. I'm just saying hypothetically because it's still got to play out.
Well, the reason why it's hard to argue is look what LeBron and Kyrie did in the past, right? And
Yeah,
you
but
could say
I used to
different.
get,
Are
I
we
used
going
to
to
be
give
able to
Kevin
dunk.
Love that much credit?
I used to be able to dunk though when I was 20. I'm 50 now.
Are
When I went-
Are you serious? You think it's that bad?
Oh, I'm what? No. No. I'm just saying. How long ago was that?
6 years ago.
Okay, so here we are 6 years later, and you know, I mean, time don't stand still now, and it don't wait for nobody. It's the one thing you can't get back, and there is a such thing as father time, as some people say. I don't know. He don't have nothing. He don't have a say so in his father time. Don't have a say so in there. Durant going to the Warriors.
How?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. You got to explain that.
Yeah, you can't just say that, and you're gonna have. I don't even know how they do that with 44 million. You would have to get rid of a couple people.
Yeah. My gosh. And it had to be somebody with a nice name too. Maybe
Right.
a Klay Thompson, possibly a
I don't
Wiseman,
know if
a Jordan Poole. How many and who and how many of them would you have to get rid of?
it's Phoenix,
TJ.
TJ. There's no way.
They have the most to give. Who got the? You talking about the Warriors?
But the Pelicans are the other option. They're saying
Oh.
Zion's going to sign the deal, the extension, the max extension, which Bro Rich never said was going to happen. So he may be wrong on this.
Okay.
So Zion signs in max extension. Then they trade Ingram in a couple other pieces, but you still have CJ, Zion, and KD. So who are you taking?
That's odd, but interesting. Oh, wait. So whoa. That's a scenario. Ooh, that's a scenario. I don't know though. I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know. That's good.
Come
Ooh,
on,
okay,
you're the 2K GM. This is it right here. It works on paper. I mean, I'm saying financially it works. This would check out.
Absolutely not. I'm not the 2K GM. Actually, I don't play 2K. But okay, I get you. Yeah, right. Anywho, but if I'm KD, do I want to go play with Chris Paul, who getting a little up there in the tooth?
I don't know why you would.
Or do I want to go over there and play with CJ and Zion? Yeah, I don't know.
Could you possibly have another reunion with Dame by the trade deadline?
I just don't see him. Me and Rick talked about that. My man RC rather. I just don't see him. You talking about going to Portland?
Well, leaving Portland.
Oh, Dame leaving Portland. Ooh. Oh, whoa. Are you sitting here suggesting or proposing, potentially, hypothetically? You saying KD, Zion, CJ, Dame, and Ingram?
Ingram would be gone. Money-wise, he's got to go to Brooklyn. Otherwise, that would be incredible.
Oh, man, I'm with you, brother Rich. If you're out there watching, I don't know. Double J just put something out there on the screen, man. I mean, boy, talk about pizza.
And look, who's your GM? Who's your GM down there? You know him very well.
David Griffin. David Griffin. Ooh, it's getting ready to get real interesting, Aaron on the NBA front. Because I'm telling you right now. Yeah, I mean, I call myself a purist. I'm telling you right now, Kyrie go to the Lakers. They definitely the front runners on paper. Definitely.
I'm not going to take away from them what they accomplished right in your backyard.
Yeah, but again, it is 6 years later. But even after 6 years, they still would be the front runner. We'd have to see how it all plays out. I don't know. I don't know. Golden State is still top dog.
Has
Top
James
dog.
Harden made a decision? Does anybody? I don't know. I may have missed that.
I
I know
don't
he opted out of that $47 million deal. So
No, he hasn't. But I don't think it don't matter what decision he make. Man, everybody hip to James Harden right now, man. James Harden is now that's one thing, Brother Rich has
But
been
at the
staunch
right
about
number.
from day one.
at
For
the
the
right
right-
number, being a sixth man like he always thought he was going to be.
Well, that's what he would have to go back to. But at this point, I don't even trust him as a sixth man.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not. Man, James Harden is he definitely on
I
the
don't know.
downside.
That's where
Yeah.
my 2K side would say,
Yeah,
I'll take
yeah.
him off the bench all day long.
Yeah, on 2K, yeah, I'd take him on 2K where I could hit reset after he missed a couple threes. I'm just saying.
I'll blame
You know
him
what
for
I'm saying?
that. That's your timing.
Yeah, but not in real life. Absolutely not. James Harden, yeah, man, please cut me in and cut it out. Not James Harden, absolutely not. Matter of fact, I forgot all about him. He's not even a player in none of these scenarios, if you ask me. But I think how the West will be won. And Kyrie go over there to the Lakers, man, and with the Clippers and the Warriors, here we are. The West is right back at the forefront on who is and who ain't, and how the West was won.
So then, all right, but then let's talk about the East, right? You have Milwaukee, who signed Joe Ingles. That was the only person they picked up.
Okay.
Levine signed the largest deal for them, for the Bulls, so he's sticking around. Obviously, you know what you guys just signed the largest deal in franchise history.
Yeah. That's right. Shout out to my man D Garland, baby. D Garland. Yeah, he doing his 1-2. Yeah.
So where's Colin Sexton go?
I heard Dallas in the conversation. Not sure about how that's going to play out, but I did hear the Mavericks. But I'm telling you right now,
Knicks have money to spend.
yeah. But Milwaukee would be right now the way I'm picturing the East. Milwaukee is the only squad right now. They get Middleton back, and with Ingles, because Ingles is another shooter. They are as formidable as you can get to battle anybody in the West, I believe. But I just don't see Miami, maybe.
Whoa, those fireworks are reaching up to the penthouse level, huh?
Oh boy, you can hear them, and they all over the place right here. Yeah, this is unbelievable. I didn't even know you can hear. I was hoping that you couldn't, but there it is for y'all folks
They
out
must
there.
see that, folks. That we used to have to drive to Ohio to go get ours, so I know he's way up there. Those are those true, like Gatorade level shells.
No,
that,
where I'm
put
at,
a hole in the side of the house.
no, where I'm at, squirrels steal the pies off your windowsill. Believe me, I'm telling you. Trust me. I don't know. You talking about penthouse? Yeah, we down in ground level in this side of town, baby.
Oh, man.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm calling it right now, man. Whoever it is, whoever is going in the next year's finals is shout out to Snowman weighing in. And my man Cole Johnson. Next year's finals is coming out. It's the final squad. It's coming out the West. It's going to be one of them three. It's going to either be the Lakers, the Clippers, or the Warriors again. Let's help this channel grow, everyone. Subscribe and like and share. Appreciate that, Snowman. We appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate that, man. Absolutely, all day, every day. Yeah, I think it's coming out the West, man. But we will see. Stay tuned, because this NBA thing is just, you know what, man? Unfortunately, even though I'm a baseball head, man, baseball is getting ready to really take a back seat to all of this. It's going to be the NFL and the NBA, because that's what type of stuff is going on in the NBA right now. It's like not literally, but figuratively like NFL caliber. You know what I mean? With all the headlines in news lately. Snowman weighing in again. He said next year it will be all about the Dubs again. Okay, Snowman, I'll give you another shout out. He don't have no problem. Snowman don't. He don't have no problem telling it like a TI is. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, man. But I think
I'm
the
telling
NBA is
you,
gonna be
this Pelicans thing is garnering some momentum.
really.
Willie Green, the Pelicans trust Willie Green as it pertains to KD.
Oh, well, we gotta keep here. That's why I tell everybody, stay tuned. We're gonna slide on things, slide along, get to our gridiron section of the P program. But definitely stay tuned. We will definitely be talking more NBA as things move along, because guess what? It's getting ready to go down, man. This probably okay, settle down there, Kim Wasabi. Slow it on down. But this is probably one of the most intriguing NBA off seasons that I can recall, right? And let's move things on. All right, to the gridiron, the last P Rorschin of, what did I say? Of the P program, P Rorschin? Oh, okay, wow. Unbelievable. Explain to me why Zach Thomas.
Oh, no.
Explain to me why Zach Thomas and Roger Craig are not in the NFL Hall of Fame.
One word, headaches.
Oh, so you blaming CTE for that? That's so disrespectful. Listen, if it was anybody else who finished their career with more tackles than Junior Seau and Brian Urlacher, more sacks than Singletary, Derek Brooks, and Dick Butkus, more first-team All-Pro selections than Kevin Green and Andre Tippett, if we was talking about anybody else, they would have been in the Hall of Fame.
No, dude. No. I mean, Zach Thomas had some good years.
Do you want me to read it again? Insert any other name in front of what I just read to you in terms of accomplishments. How are they not in the Hall of Fame?
What about Jason Taylor then, right? Well, he had some good years too down there in Miami.
Yeah, he did. And speaking of which, well, you mentioned Miami. He's definitely on the staff. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Jason Taylor is an analyst.
Right into that. Oh,
yes.
Oh,
yes. Jason Taylor is an analyst. And shout out. We got a special guest joining us right quick.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Duke Gully. What it do? He must got this doing his
I love it.
He got his tank top on there. Okay, I got you. We see your muscles. It's all good though.
Oh, watch out,
man. I thought you was gonna. I thought you was gonna have more clothes on, but it's okay. You know, it's ladies who watch the show too. Unfortunately, excuse me, not unfortunately, but fortunately. But the man is not. The man is taken, ladies. Settle down. Slow it down. Keep your money in your pockets. All right. Keep your money in your pockets. But how can I just read to you what Zach Thomas right now, Gully? We talking about how come Zach Thomas and Roger Craig are not in the NFL Hall of Fame. It's now that you just joined us, I'll read it again to you because Double J just almost had a Lucia fit. The stuff he be drinking on now. He went to St. Lucia and got married, and he came back with a lifetime supply or something. But anyway, Zach Thomas finished his career with more tackles than Seau, Urlacher, more sacks than Singletary and Derek Brooks, and Butkus. More first-team All-Pro selections than Kevin Green and Andre Tippett, but he's not in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not even about to mention what Roger Craig, all of what he did, okay, and why he's not in the Hall of Fame. But that's why we're here. Is either not in the Hall of Fame. And as far as that Jason Taylor thing, let me say again right quick, yes, Jason Taylor is definitely, even though he's an analyst with the Miami Hurricanes and whatnot down on their program or P program, he is also a consultant of sorts on the Miami football Hurricane staff. Shout out to my man, Jason Taylor. Who else would you rather have a part of that P program down there? We coming back. I'm telling y'all that right now. But anyway, Gully, you want to say why not Bills Mafia? Yeah, I just noticed that. Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Not Bills Mafia. But why is Zach Thomas not in the Hall of Fame or Roger Craig?
How many years does the NFL have an expiration over years of eligibility? For example, I know that's a big deal in baseball. Double J, do you know?
Yeah,
For Hall of Fame eligibility.
Well, actually, the reason why I'm going to say it's got to be things outside of that is if you actually look at his statistics to Brian Urlacher's, he is, more All-Pro selections.
Yeah, he's statistically better than Brian Urlacher. Yeah. So my bad, Double J. I mean, take it.
No, you're good there.
so when we look at, okay, all right. Well, first of all, for anybody not in Hall of Fame, there's going to be someone statistically better that is. right? Or statistically worse, that is. You know what I'm saying? So when we get to Roger Craig here shortly, there's gonna be somebody statistically who's not as good, but got in. I think there's a different reason why Zach Thomas is not in the Hall of Fame than the reason that exists for Roger Craig.
Yeah, people like Double J keep voting. He on the committee.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
So it sounds like let me make my piece because it sounds like Double J have a reason why they shouldn't be. All right, for Zach Thomas, I think it's purely PR because his story, he was even in that era, he was significantly undersized as the middle linebacker.
Absolutely.
He played the middle linebacker. He was 5'10". Like he and Barry Sanders were probably stature-wise, probably almost identical.
Yeah, diminutive, if I'm saying that right.
And he led, the linebacker. That's the point guard of the defense in a sense. So having been undersized his entire career, even in that era, consistently, irrespective of the teams he was on, the teams that may have underachieved, like in the same case for Jason Taylor, he still was a, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame worthy linebacker. I don't see anything aside from PR. I think that there are issues with a man has a means of ethics and morals, or maybe perhaps TO like rumors of his ability as or of his team player, his role as a team player, not being disruptive to the team. That's the only thing I can read. That's the only thing I can read into why Zach Thomas, a player like him, is not in the Hall of Fame. For Roger Craig, it's very simple. For Roger Craig, he played alongside arguably the best quarterback most have seen until Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls. In addition to that team, they had a great defense.
Whoa. No, you talking about the 49ers?
Why do we know who Ronnie Lott is? Yeah, why do we know who Ronnie Lott is?
Okay, Ronnie Lott was a great player, but
hold on, wait.
But I don't know if that defense was great back then.
I think it was. I mean, I'm just going by how hard it was to beat on Tecmo Bowl. And Tecmo Bowl only let the fastest players be the good players. So I know they had Ronnie Lott. He was the Bo Jackson of the defense on Tecmo Bowl. But
no question, he was the Bo Jackson in real life of defense too, so to speak. Yeah, he was. He patrolled back there. That's for sure.
When I look at that team and the championship years that they played, all throughout the 80s, pretty much. He's unfortunately looked at as the player who benefited from the greatness around him more so than Joe Montana, because we know who John Taylor was as a receiver. We certainly know who Jerry Rice was as a receiver. We certainly know who was it Dwight Clark, rest his soul. We know all these players. And then Joe Montana, he was a guy who we know of him because of his ability to get things done with his arm, not so much a scrambler. Though he could do it. I mean, he was significantly worse as a scrambler than his contemporary like John Elway, but he was significantly better as a scrambler than his contemporary Bernie Kosar. So my point is, Roger Craig unfortunately is viewed as the benefactor of the greatness around him, to a discredit to him, because his ability to run and rush and make plays also set up the offense, so it worked hand in hand.
Well, okay, so you could say yes, that the running lanes were created because of the efficiency of the other threats on that team. But didn't he begin his career as a fullback? Wasn't the first 1,000 yards as a fullback?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yes.
Which in theory, I don't know how many of those exist, other than maybe you would have to dig way, way back in, historically.
Allstott.
No, that Allstott is a whole decade after him, and the only other fullback that did it was Bo Jackson.
You see what I mean? So that should elevate him a little bit. But how big is that fumble from against the Giants?
Oh, don't do him like that.
No. I'm being serious here. Like that would have been an undoubtedly three-peat, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That it had to be something. I mean, his fumble his fumble that would have gave the 49ers a three-peat is actually viewed more harshly than Ernest Biner's fumble.
Yeah. Well,
That's amazing. That's shocking, man.
It depends on if you ask who you're asking. Okay, if you're asking Clevelanders, they like Ronnie who? Roger who? You get what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah.
Ernest Biner? Yeah, right. But you've asked the average NFL fan, yeah. But so wait a minute. So you think that's why he's not in, so to speak?
Well,
He's being defined by that fumble? His career in totality is being defined by that fumble?
The same way that one could say that, even though, I brought up Jason Taylor, and I could have said Patrick Surtain, or, you could say that the reason Zach Thomas isn't in is that Miami's a small market as it pertains to from the pro spectrum.
Didn't stop Dan Marino.
Hey, and the Dolphins still.
Yeah, but Dan was beloved. Remember, he was beloved nationally.
Zach Thomas was too. Well, not nationally, but Zach Thomas.
What about London Fletcher? Right? Wouldn't that be another good example?
But London, if he's not in, he's definitely gonna get in.
But you would say the same thing.
Well, what do you mean?
As far as like the small market comparison, because again, when we bring up statistically, we're
London
saying
Fletcher played on that Rams team that won. Didn't he play on the Rams team that won the Super Bowl?
But
yes,
I'm almost positive he was.
Right. Yeah. But so what's small market?
Well, for one, St. Louis doesn't have a team.
Yeah, but they did when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, how could they have won the Super Bowl?
You know what I'm saying?
But again, how many? It's not like the LA fan base is going to be, making the case for him to get in. They're not claiming him.
I have to figure out. It's a mystery to me, and I probably looked on the live like I was actively in research mode, because I still statistically don't know why Roger Craig isn't in there. I'm trying to figure out what is being overlooked. I mean, even though I've given an example, that doesn't even hold up. In '88 alone, he was number 3 in the MVP voting, and I think he won Offensive Player of the Year.
See, that
was like deeper into his career. You know what I'm saying? '88, I think, right? He still was in the league for like 5 more seasons.
I'm rooting. I have a card of his. Like, I don't have a lot of NFL cards, but I have one of Roger Craig's. So believe me, I'm all for this. But
he should definitely be in, man. There's no question he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean,
you have to really search to find, like you just said, Gully, you have to really dig deep to find the reason why he's not.
He's got 3,000-yard seasons. One, his best, his '88 year that was a Super Bowl year, '87, '88, or '88. No.
I mean, I hate to kind of break this up and say that, by throwing London Fletcher in there and kind of once again overlooking Zach Thomas. In his case, his stats are better than Ray Lewis's.
Who's?
London Fletcher's.
Oh yeah. That's
what I mean.
Yeah.
See, now, okay. If you know what I mean?
Now that's why I'm going to be quiet, because now you're making my case. You're answering my question that I asked. The question that I asked. Did y'all get that? I didn't either, but I'm gonna ask it again. Why is Zach Thomas then not in the Hall of Fame, or Roger Craig? If you can, based off what you all are looking at, if you can come up with a sound reason as to why, then I'll leave it alone.
All right. Okay. So let's see. How does it work?
Oh, dude, I just pulled this up now.
How does it work? The criteria, like, okay. So for example, every year that there's voting for let's say the NFL Hall of Fame, any player eligible can be named, or do you have to kind of like do you have to be named like a finalist in a sense? Like, do you have to be named into the pool of names? How does it work, Double J?
No. This is, once you're eligible, but it's typically highlighted by newcomers. So first time folks that are eligible, and those that are on like within their final window.
Oh, so it's easy.
Oh, it's easy to fall out of favor
it's
or to be lost in the shuffle.
Right. It's easier for me to make the case that that's what happened to Roger Craig than Zach Thomas. It's the recency bias. That's the only reason. Like you said.
You saying in the case of Roger Craig is recency bias?
Because all right, at the time he retired, was Walter Payton in the Hall of Fame yet or not? So we talk about 1993-94. Was Walter Payton in?
I believe Walter was already in.
Okay. So I would say if we wanted to do the follow the logical trail, if you will. If we wanted to do that, we look at every year let's say in the 10 seasons that he was eligible. And I probably look at the couple seasons before, like after he retired, before he got eligible, and then maybe even not the 10, but like the 5 seasons, his first 5 seasons since retirement, who went into the Hall of Fame ahead of him? And I'll tell you, it's always a case of the recency bias when it comes to Roger Craig, because there's no other reason. I don't know if him ever has a bad teammate. I don't know of a year that he ever underperformed, even in his later career when he was with Minnesota. I don't know of a scandal they was dealt with. And then we look at the
fumble, dude. I'm telling you, it's the fumble.
So he fumbled, right? All right. So that means it's entitled.
His career is being totally defined, and I mean it with the word literally, totally defined by the fumble.
Yes, because he's being dealt as or cast rather as a benefactor to one of the most proficient offenses. Look how long it took Marshall Faulk, right? Or some of the other elements of the greatest show on turf.
See,
remember how not everybody was they didn't like all, they weren't eligible all day one and they all went, right away.
And that's a shame when it comes to Marshall Faulk, because as great as Kurt Warner is in those receivers, his more so than Roger Craig, I feel like Faulk was a larger component of why that offense could be able to be spread out. Marshall Faulk, man, he was just.
Yeah, I think so too. He was the straw that stirred the drink. If you ask me,
he really was
more so than Kurt Warner, more so than Isaac Bruce, more so than Torrey Holt, and more so than Oz Hakeem. But here's the deal, though. Let me throw this out you. With all due respect to Barry Sanders, his playoff performances paled in comparison to his regular season performances.
I don't know.
I'm not talking about multiple championship rings either. Naturally,
I don't think so. Double J. I don't think so. Barbershop.
Yeah, he has some playoff games that I don't know, and I'm not knocking Barry, huh?
Are you just talking about off of averages?
No,
I'm thinking of those Tampa Bay games that.
What I'm saying to you is, if Roger Craig ain't in because of a fumble, it's probably some more heralded names that has some things that you probably could question if you wanted to question something. The fumble,
yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, it's because they're undervaluing him. But here's the thing: we talked about this is why you need to highlight the rare parts of his case, and I feel like this is what even the Roger Craig kind of like. There's a group online that is trying to almost what would you call that? Where you
advocate.
They're trying to do that on his behalf
for Roger Craig.
Yeah, and I feel like if you emphasize the points of first positionally him as a fullback and what he accomplished there, and then being able the first or one of 3 players maybe to have the rushing and receiving 1,000 yards.
Man, I forgot about that. He did that in the same season, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my point. Whoa. They're not.
He ran for 1,000 and caught 1,000.
Yes.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Yes. Running back.
Yes.
And not in the Hall of Fame.
Not in the Hall of Fame.
Because of the fumble.
It's the fumble. That's why I'm telling you.
I'm going to concede that to you.
He accomplished that. Very few have. Forget,
I'd like to know how many guys at his position in the last 35 years of the NFL was able to do that.
2.
Rush for 1,000 and receive for 1,000.
Who was it? Was it 2. AP? Who were they? Was it AP?
I gotta figure out.
Wait a minute. Was it Brian Westbrook?
I don't know.
Brian Westbrook. I'm betting it's Brian Westbrook and Adrian Peterson, or it's probably another like a workhorse back that we don't even know. Like
so it's 3 total. It's 3 total, and Roger Craig is on one of them, and not in the Hall of Fame because of the fumble. Man, cut me in and cut it out. Them NFL voters, man, they need to stay off the Lucia. Because they over there sipping on something.
Man, yeah, them fumbles. You know what?
Ha! Wait a minute. This ties into what I was talking about last week. The other two, Marshall Faulk
and Christian McCaffrey.
When we were talking about the list going into this year, and I said Christian McCaffrey should be on that list.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
why.
Oh, yeah. You talking about the running back list we did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, what list?
The top 10. Last week we did a top 10. We talked about the top 10 running backs listed from going into the 2022 season.
And he's not in the top 10.
Yeah, McCaffrey was not on it.
Oh boy.
But you know, they penalizing him for being hurt.
Okay.
That's what they penalized him for, I believe.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Oft injured.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, what you say? Whatever you say.
It's the same reason why we continue to think. It's the same reason that people continue to think that Lamar Jackson is just a running quarterback. We got to see him the way we want to see him.
But I'm telling you, this London Fletcher thing versus. So, for example, with tackles alone, this is why they compare Zach Thomas to Brian Urlacher, not to others, because Urlacher is almost setting the bar low.
Huh?
Because, like, for example, Ray Lewis had 2,059 tackles. London Fletcher had 2,039. And then now here's the difference, though. Games missed, Lewis 44, Fletcher 0.
Fletcher, yeah, I was going to say Fletcher.
Game.
Same in terms of deflections, same in forced fumbles. What we're talking 1.5 difference in sacks. But again, Pro Bowls is lopsided, 4 to 13.
Do you realize, like, how that tells the story of the game of football? In the sense that you have a player that in his entire career never missed a game, and he contributed the same number of, or nearly the same number of key plays.
Yeah, look who decided to join us.
He left the LeBron James.
Decided to join us when we get ready to get out of here.
PR. He left the LeBron James 2022-2023 PR campaign conference. It was held in Bath, Ohio. I remember they all got they all were able to get Swenson's. Swenson sponsored it. You got a Swenson's goodie bag. Look at it right there in the back.
He got a Swenson's
goodie bag. What's going on, man?
What's going on? I was just telling him that you had left the 2022-2023 LeBron James PR convention.
Yes, sir.
Sponsored by Swenson's. Yeah. So, are you guys preloading the hey, the team got too old? Or are we gonna wait until like November or December before we say that the Lakers got too old?
So listen.
Oh boy.
So listen, check this out. D-Gal, I just want to ask you a question. Now,
yeah.
Now we were just talking about football, but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I mean, he kept going in.
I wish you hadn't done that, Gully, because the basketball portion of the program was 12 hours ago. But go ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I'll be able to tie it all back together.
Yeah, please. But go ahead. I want to hear this.
So I gotta ask you a question. Is LeBron 37 or 38?
He is born in
That's
84,
a trick question.
so he'll be 38 at the end of this calendar year.
So when in the history of the NBA has a player been so scrutinized for getting help at 38 years old?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
Was he scrutinized?
Was he scrutinized for getting help? Oh boy, let y'all tell it. Y'all are now giving Michael Jordan the business for recruiting Dennis Rodman, which he didn't do in 1995. when he was 35.
So he wasn't recruiting Dennis.
No, he didn't recruit Dennis. What happened was
they got whooped by Orlando.
No, they let their best power forward go. Like you forget that Horace Grant,
right?
See, this how I know I'm dealing with a LeBron James fan, because here's what they'll do: they'll turn the help in the trash to make their point. Horace Grant is probably one of the most underrated superstars of the 90s. He was like a top 3 power forward.
I'm trying to see how was it even possible to be underrated with an
we
NBA
just talked about
that,
we just talked about
really
and this
didn't really have that many superstars.
We really just how we pull it back together. See, barbershop, you know I was gonna get you. We were actually talking about how come Roger Craig isn't in the Hall of Fame, and much like Horace Grant, who's had a quietly Hall of Fame worthy career, because he was a teammate he was surrounded by a team of greatness of all time proportions. We talk about Michael Jordan being the GOAT, if you will. Phil Jackson.
Come on, Gully.
Okay.
Because that's an insult to Roger Craig.
No, it's not an insult to Roger Craig. I'm saying that as great as he was, they look at the greatness around him and to say he benefited from that. But no, he helped make those things possible, just like Roger Craig. We look at how many years did he have above 6 touchdowns? Okay, he had 3,000 yard seasons, one 1,500 yard season. I'm saying they look at the greatness that he contributed to set the table for those guys. But because those guys are also so dynamic in themselves, and we don't, and we have a hard time, especially surprisingly in the 80s and 90s or 2000s, we have a hard time now respecting running backs, especially when they prove to be greater. I'm saying, despite his career, Horace Grant, Roger Craig in the same boat, they'll never truly be appreciated for what they truly could do because of the greatness that was surrounded them.
Let me say this to you right quick.
For the owners, though, when you say we didn't appreciate running backs, because fans have never depreciated running backs. It's always been management, ownership, and all that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. As fans, right? But we talking about if we talking about
but he made the reference in the he drew the correlation between Horace Grant and Roger Craig, but you called Horace Grant trash.
You did
as a fan.
You just did.
No, I ain't call him trash. I said Roger Craig.
No.
Roger Craig trash.
You said Horace Grant was trash.
No, I didn't call him trash. I know who Horace Grant is.
Okay, but you didn't say trash?
Yeah, I did, but when he was putting those two together and he said Roger Craig, I said trash. But I really was just joking. Listen, I really was joking.
You was just being you was being facetious. Oh, okay,
I respect the player now. Come on.
Yeah, okay, got you. Go ahead, Gully. Finish. Yeah.
No, I'm good. I just needed to get to the king because we're gonna have plenty of time to argue. I couldn't miss an opportunity to greet him.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what you do when the speaker for the king come in. You got to greet him. I mean, I'm surprised I ain't get my introduction. It is what it is.
What you mean? You surprised you didn't get your introduction? We getting ready to go home. We getting ready to
wrap
up.
You just got here.
What you talking about?
You at home?
You talking about when you tried you didn't get your introduction? Man, it's 12:37 at night. Man, please go ahead on. Anybody? Yeah, it's too late for introduction.
Man, where you at?
Man, it's too late for introduction.
Don't worry, I'm just. We'll do the free agency show.
I have at it. Give me a break.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's what y'all do. Yeah, give me a break. Absolutely. You know what?
Jay, check this out. You see, they had a little spin-off show. I liked it. I watched it earlier today and whatnot. It's all right. I got a few tips for you, but I ain't gonna say it on air. But anyway, Double J,
if it ain't Q-tips, ain't no need for a tip.
That's the only thing I don't like. I hope on the next show you don't get to say the joke and get the buzzer too. Somebody else give you the buzzer.
Hey, listen, you sitting over there with a $55,000 keyboard with all that old equalizer and synthesizer. You should come over with all. Yeah. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Like on what? Not Comic View. What was the other one? The Sandman.
Def Comedy Jam.
Apollo. No, not Def.
Showtime at the Apollo.
Showtime at the Apollo. That's what we need. We need a Sandman for your butt, man.
Okay, go ahead. What was you saying now? Yeah, Control Alt Delete.
Well,
Hit
remember,
that
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
Double
keyboard.
J.
comedy still needed Steve Harvey.
Double
Yeah.
J. We were supposed to set up a spin-off also. So what's going on?
I'm ready. Whenever you have the time, we can pick the day. Just let me know.
I logged into that account today, so I'm definitely gonna be setting that up in the near future this week.
Hey, and no, I'm glad you said that. No reference to nothing that don't pertain to what it is I stand for on my beliefs. I don't care about none of that. If you have to do what you do. I'm talking about what I did when I started this whole thing. It was a certain foundation that I was trying to build. So I don't need all of no beer commercials, none of that kind of stuff or whatever it is. I want people to understand that you can still produce and put together a tight platform and a show that don't need all that other stuff that carries a show typically.
Okay, I got you.
Okay,
Bill
it's all
Cosby.
good. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, so disrespectful.
America's favorite dad. I got
you.
you.
Know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
See what I'm saying? This is the disrespect. He come late and still think he allowed to be disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
That wasn't disrespect. That was actually that was disrespect.
I know it was. What you doing? You ain't gonna sit there and try to lie and say it wasn't. Anyway, we round things out, but I still say Zach Thomas and Roger Craig should be in the Hall of Fame. They should have been in the Hall of Fame.
Nope. I'm going to advocate for London Fletcher right away.
Wait.
London Fletcher, hold on. He didn't make the Hall of Fame yet?
Wait, but I'm confused. Are you saying instead of Roger Craig and Zach Thomas, put London Fletcher in? Are you saying that London Fletcher need to go first before those guys?
Yes. Do y'all know his career?
His career is crazy.
He got like 17 seasons.
See, all right,
hold up.
Let me give you his accolades, and I know these things.
He just did. Double J just did.
That's my son's uncle.
Double J just gave them to us. But see, here was the question. See, TJ, let me tell you what the question was. The question was not should London Fletcher be in first or last or not at all. The question wasn't about London Fletcher because that's a given. What's already understood need not even be asked. Because I'm with you.
But he's being forgotten in all of this. So that's why.
But
he's not.
Yet.
But that's what I'm saying.
How can you say someone in the same position?
To be honest, he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, man.
How long ago did he retire?
The same year Ray Lewis retired.
Okay, how long ago was that?
It's been a minute.
Okay, how long had Roger Craig and Zach Thomas been retired?
Slightly longer.
So if you're advocating for London Fletcher to be in ahead of Zach Thomas and Roger Craig, you are actively 100% validating my theory of the recency bias. Because you just said, yes, why would you even entertain if the question was about Roger Craig and Zach Thomas, why do we even spend a moment talking about Christian McCaffrey and London Fletcher? Because that's the recency bias at play.
No.
Listen, because
you said you won't entertain Roger Craig or Zach Thomas getting in the Hall of Fame.
I was making the case for Roger Craig.
What was the question, bro?
That's what I'm saying. The question was not about London Fletcher. London Fletcher is a given. He should have been in. My question was,
that's not a given then. You're talking about we're going to put this other dude in whose accolades are not better than someone else that played during the same era as him, which is fair. And his
London Fletcher played.
One's being compared to Ray Lewis, the other one's being compared to Urlacher. On the spectrum there.
No, they're not being
accomplishments. That's what I'm saying. That's who they compare each other to as far as making the most appropriate case.
He's saying the guy that they compare Ray Lewis to, or the guy that's being compared to Ray Lewis, one
pales in comparison to the guy who's being compared to Brian Urlacher. Yeah. Okay, but here's what I'm saying to you. Though.
But y'all break that down. That little.
That's what I'm about to do. Let me reread what the question was.
Okay.
When I was doing the research to put together the notes for this portion of the Gridiron segment, I looked up and I see Zach Thomas. And what he did just stood out to me. So I said, why is Zach Thomas and Roger Craig not in the Hall of Fame? Zach Thomas finished his career with more tackles than Junior Seau and Brian Urlacher. He had more sacks than Singletary or Derek Brooks and Dick Buckus, more first-team All-Pro selections than Kevin Green and Andre Tippett, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. And then with Roger Craig, what goes without saying need not be said, if I'm saying that right. That goes without saying in his regard.
But this is the problem, dude. You're not saying those critical pieces that I brought up, which was to make the case for him, which was that fullback element of 1,000 yards, which again, as Gully had pointed out, has only been done by 2 others, which is the power of 3, right? And then additionally, that same single season 1,000-yard rushing and receiving, which had only been done by 2 others also, which again, one being past, who is a Hall of Famer, the other present, who certainly possesses that type of talent, but can't stay healthy. So again, as far as chopping down Roger Craig, it's when you box him in as a traditional RB. And then, of course, the magnifying glass from the critics, which was what he contributed or didn't contribute to, which was the machine in San Francisco and that fumble, which was his undoing.
But you can't put Roger Craig in a box. When it come time for Roger Craig to be looked at, whether or not he's Hall of Fame worthy, you can't say he's a running back, or are we going to look at him as a running back, or are we going to look at him as a fullback? I look at him as the type of the player.
So Roger Craig, what years did he play in the 80s? What years?
Yeah, in early 90s.
90. No, not 79. 81. Hold on.
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't there in 81.
83 to 93. So he played.
Yeah, I'm about to say he wasn't there in 81.
Listen, the fact that I always hear that man's name, that speaks volumes about who he was anyway. So I'm trying to figure out why he ain't in the Hall of Fame just off of that.
Shout out to my man RG. Did y'all catch any of the USL Championship game? Man. No, unfortunately we didn't, because I was getting prepared to do the show this evening or whatnot. Yeah, we gotta talk some USFL and XFL.
I know his name. I don't even know what team. I think he play for the. Y'all just said San Fran.
Yeah.
Yes.
Roger
I didn't heard my uncles. Listen, I heard my uncle speak of this man's name a lot. I thought he was in the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. And I said, I don't know nothing about him.
Nope, he not.
But that being said, the fact that I know his name like that, and y'all just gave me his accolades, it's weird that he's not in the Hall of Fame. Just off that's
all. Yeah, that's what I was driving.
So we should not be comparing him and who should have been in first. There's a lot of people, well, not a lot, but it's a select few who should be in that Hall of Fame that's not in there.
My man RG weighing in again. This has been a very good game for sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, the USFL definitely. I mean, I grew up on the USFL, so I'm been a fan and been a fan. Yeah, all right. Now turn off the fan. It's a little chilly in here. I'm just saying. I give myself a button for that. Anyway, at the end of the day, yeah, they all should be in, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Now, remember, you have guys like Ricky Waters, who is not, and I will not let him in. 8-year-old me, okay, speaking of 49er running backs,
oh boy,
8-year-old me at the Pontiac Silverdome says to my my dad, I don't want to meet the Lions. I want to meet the 49ers. We go out the tunnel and with the players.
You got the music for this barbershop?
But I should. I'm 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not outside the gates. I'm inside the gates.
All right.
I pull on this man's uniform, right?
Yeah.
Won't acknowledge me. Come on, man. So he's out. Ricky Waters. He is out. I don't care what he did. He could have parted the Red Sea.
In his book, he is out. I don't care what he did. That's just like barbershop.
You want to know who made the time for me that day? Deion Sanders, prime himself with a woman on each arm, and actually he would have needed like the Mortal Kombat character, because there were two more
Goro arms. Right.
Yeah, he stopped and got me some out the bus.
That's
so
amazing.
That
sounded like Double J right now when LeBron did whatever he did. Now he's a LeBron hater for life.
Oh,
and you know what? To that, PJ, to that.
Oh, Ricky Waters is out for me. However, Eddie George is eligible. Fred Taylor. We're talking Ohio guys now.
Oh, that don't mean that. Oh, I'm not big.
Fred
Ohio.
Taylor.
Oh,
Damn.
I'm Ohio. Okay. Fred Taylor should be in because Fred Taylor was a dog. That Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardle combination, and Mark Brunell and all
Yeah.
of that. Yeah, that I forgot who the tight end was for them, but yeah, them Jaguars teams in the mid '90s. Yeah, they was something to watch. They was
Did
something
y'all
to be
talk
on.
about Israel Asanya last fight last night?
No, we didn't. We didn't do a
But y'all
boxing
talk
segment.
about old boxers and stuff. But y'all won't talk about now fighters of now.
TJ, we need
Listen,
to,
you know why? I'm gonna explain something to you.
UFC way harder than boxing.
Listen,
Though.
no, UFC
No, it's
is
not.
and it's been proven. UFC is not. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is what I feel like. This is my opinion. UFC is not. The
emotional damage.
The amount of fights that can end suddenly and swiftly in UFC actually kind of speaks to the fact that boxing can be a bit more challenging, even though fights can end suddenly. Here's what I'm trying to tell you about it, TJ. When I watch, as a fan of combat sports, I'm much more partial to boxing because in the end, it can be brutal, but there's a level of competition that I see when I watch a boxer box. In UFC, a lot of those techniques, bro, I want to train it. I want to learn it. That to me is very, very violent. And I can't imagine learning how to go that far, but being able to put that away and being able to, like, this dude literally put me in a triangle choke, try to choke the life out of me. I can't imagine, a bell ringing in there. I can just get up and just shake his hand and hug him. Like, that to me, that brutality is like, I got to brace myself for it. In boxing, I can see two guys with the same level, same ability to use the same parts of their body at all times, right? So they have to have a certain level of skill and dedication to the simple science, to the sweet science of being able to use their hands. Like, that to me speaks to how much more I think competitively equal the fighters are. It's kind of like NASCAR. They got to pair the cars down the same. So really the drivers who drive make the difference.
That's why it's a sport.
I see where you're going with it, but I gotta disagree with that. Go ahead. Let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna push back where I say this UFC is just a much harder sport.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that when you get knocked down in boxing, the ref has to get in and they can't finish you off at all. In UFC, you get knocked down, it doesn't mean nothing. It means you're about to get pounded on. So the fact that you got that much, you got to be aware of that. You get knocked down, you're about to get pounded out, man. That right there is like you're really fighting for your life out there.
So you never seen the refs jump in the UFC?
In boxing?
Hold on, no.
Matter
of fact, no. Let me ask it this way: do they even have refs in UFC?
Yes.
Okay, so what are the refs there for then?
No, I'm saying in boxing, it's like you can knock somebody down with your hardest punch, and then they get a standard 10. They can get a count to get back up and fight. When you knock somebody down in UFC, the ref ain't gonna interfere till that person knocked out or he feels the fight is over with.
All right, well, that's an interesting counter argument because that tells me a whole lot about a lot of UFC fights that on the basis of your comparison alone, I feel like should have lasted longer. Because to your point, if the referee sees that you about to get pounced on, the fight is over with, right? Whereas if I knock a fighter down, he got a few, like, all right, bottom line, if Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder was a UFC fight, Tyson Fury wins. Tyson Fury, based on the rules. They're based on the rule and what you said, what happens with referees.
So you saying there'd be UFC fighters.
So what I'm saying is, based on the rules that you said about the referee, the point that Tyson Fury got knocked down in that first fight, if it's a UFC fight, that fight is over with.
No, but it ain't over.
Yes, it is.
He well, technically, yeah.
Yeah, because the way he fell,
he got to get on top of him and finish him off.
No. That ain't what you said. That ain't what you said. You said because listen, we've seen it in UFC. If a fighter takes a nice punch and they get their bell rung and they drop, that fight is over with immediately. Like you could probably
if the opposition is showing that they are defenseless,
right, and that's my point. That's my point. For 5 seconds, at least in Tyson and Fury Wilder won for 5 seconds. If that fight was a UFC fight, we would have never seen that, because for 5 seconds, Fury looked like he was out. But imagine how many UFC fights you wish, man, if that dude would have had another 2 or 3 seconds, this thing would have turned around. We would have never saw what we saw from Fury Wilder.
I'm not watching a fight to see somebody come back and win. I'm watching a fight to see who's the best combat fighter. Period. I don't want to see the ref stop and help the other person up. Hey, you all right?
Yeah, all right then. So look, so by that
man,
logic,
listen, but by that admission, then you sitting here devaluing what Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti was, their trilogy.
Because you're not getting the volume of trilogies like that. You know, well, I mean, you are getting
that was a bloodbath, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
That Mickey Ward Arturo Gatti trilogy is one of the most fantastic trilogies of any type of combat anything to date.
I'm just saying, for me, UFC gives me more for my money. If I was to pay for a ticket, I know for a fact I'm gonna get my money's worth.
Let me explain.
No matter who's on the card.
Now I tell you what, TJ,
I never seen a UFC fight night that was boring.
This is on my page. I got a couple fighters and a writer. So by all means, I'll have to tag these guys and let them have their say at some point.
No, because I'm gonna tell you, because actually the reason why I know of UFC in the way that I do, not to say that I'm an expert at all, but I only know of it, how big it is, or my interest is in UFC has only peaked purely because of my apathy for the way boxing is run. When you speak about the cards, TJ, you're absolutely right. The reason why I watch a UFC card perhaps more so than a boxing card is chances are on the UFC card, right? The best are usually fighting the best, and if you're not a title holder, you on the way to the run. I don't know of how many like big name fighters having tune-up fights. If I watch a boxing card, I gotta really dig into my app to figure out, even if it's even at this rate right now, the major fighters carrying the sport is Canelo.
Look
Crawford.
at that middleweight.
Crawford.
Yeah.
Right, Keller
Stevenson.
But no. But let's be honest. Really, nobody can get the money for a card like Canelo. And the difference is, if you're trying to sell a UFC card, it's about 6 fighters that can bring that same volume of interest to a card, because the way that they're built from start to finish. A lot of the boxing cards, especially because of the promoters and because of the alphabet titles, their tent, if you will, the big tent is the only action. You have a big circus with only one real match worth watching.
Yep.
And you don't have that in UFC. You don't even have that in Bellator. You don't even have that in Pride, of whatever it is in the combat sports. And that's the problem that's why boxing is losing, because I don't know who these guys are. You don't make me care for them. And in a meaningful way, I don't understand how you got to build up towards. Spence and Crawford should have been on fight number 2 by now with each other.
Yeah, I say
as long as they carried the divisions, for as long as Mayweather and Pacquiao were supposed to fight February 14th, 2009, originally in Dallas, Texas Stadium. When did that fight end up happening? May 3rd. Nope, May 3rd, 2015, 6 years later.
This is why he can't be the GOAT.
Who?
This is why he can't be the GOAT. He was ducking that man.
No, he wasn't.
Talking about he was doing steroids.
No, I don't think he was ducking them. I think.
What? Whoa! The shop report. Who's typing in from the shop report? It's not me. Double J, is that you?
That is Bro Rich.
Oh, it might be Bro Rich. Boxing isn't as exciting as it used to be. All right, we'll give a shout out there.
Maybe it's Doc. Yeah, it's got to be Doc or Bro Rich.
Reason why I brought up this though, Israel, somebody like him, I know UFC is on the way up and is getting the money, but Just imagine if he is a boxer, what type of money he would get per fight right now.
Yes.
No matter who he fighting, but he is fighting, and his next fight is gonna be very important because that dude knocked him out before. So I can't wait to see it. He's like 22-1 right now, but he should be bringing in a lot of money, and that's the point with the UFC fighters. They're not getting the money they deserve.
Well,
that's on Dana White though.
Yeah, I'm in.
Well, look at the
agreement with that.
contracts, right? They give these kids five fights, right? 5-fight deals. It seems.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I mean, again, you split. You know, if you're 2-3, you almost have to go 5-0 at that point to sustain it.
Oh, it is Doc. Sorry, it is Doc. Shout out Doc. It's why he said he don't know why it's supposed to from the shop. It don't matter. We all right. Somebody else.
You logged in from the shop.
Oh, he
That's
might be
easy
logged
for
in.
you.
Okay. All right. There it is. Doc weighing in.
My point with that is UFC is facing a similar problem that boxing is. The difference was the hype of yesteryear with UFC from the merger of the Pride days, like when you would get Showtime Pettis coming back, coming over, you had Ken Shamrock come over, you had all these different mergers that you historically had only seen from WCW versus WWF days historically. Now, even the Ultimate Fighter, right, which is what took the platform to the next level.
Yes, it did.
And I'm trying to remember which big dude won and went on a crazy streak. There were a handful of guys in the early years that carried the sport.
Liddell,
my man RG Ganger weighing in. Mayweather has never lost a fight. He did not duck pack. He's the GOAT aside from like Ali and those guys. Yeah, for me, Ali is the GOAT if I had to name one.
Listen, if you could say this, right? He got a lot of guys on his resume, but which one of those guys was in their prime? Who's a Hall of Famer?
All right.
Oscar? No.
Well, who did he duck in Mayweather's prime?
I'm gonna tell you now. Oh, so when did you start his prime though? That's what we got.
Well, that's a good
we're gonna
question
ignore the Birdo sucker punch.
What do you mean the Birdo? You talking about the
yeah,
not the sucker punch. You talking about the when he got headbutted?
Victor Ortiz.
Yeah, when he got headbutted, then kissed, and the referee said the referee
he paid him off.
The referee started the fight and then kept up. Listen.
At the end of the day, when was his prime? When
was Mayweather's prime?
His prime. Is it anywhere in the 90s?
Well, no, he turned pro in 98. So his prime couldn't have been at least until after he beat Chico. Maybe you could start it in 2000.
Yeah, because after the Olympics, right? When he lost in the Olympics, that was the only time.
He was a 96 Olympian. So he lost in 96 in the Olympics. And I think he turned pro like right after that. So, and I think he got his first title. I thought he got his first title in like 98 or 99.
All right. So how many titles did Oscar have in the 90s?
Oscar's an older fighter. So Oscar turned pro 5 years before me. Oscar had already been pro for like 3 years before that in the 90s. So they wasn't going to meet in each other's prime. Because it'd have been up to Oscar De La Hoya to pick Mayweather, because Oscar was further ahead on the.
Has the fan base been poisoned by losses? Is the UFC normalizing losses as it pertains to champions?
Oh yeah,
boxing can benefit from.
I don't know because a lot of your great fighters, you know what I mean. Like I think maybe for example, Jorge Masvidal. I think his recent behavior is kind of detracted from his overall, I think, appeal. But he was a guy lauded, has been an all-time great despite like something like 11 or 12 losses in this career.
Oh man, I used to watch him when he was Kimbo. When we used to have to take 30 minutes to download.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's the good old days.
Masvidal been around, so like I don't think losses. You can definitely have a higher volume of losses on your career in UFC and still be considered an all-time great. I mean,
why doesn't it translate, Gully? Why can't after you have a loss, like for example, Canelo's most recent loss.
Yeah.
Is that going to taint his image and potentially the
Nah, I
viewership
don't
and all these
I don't
things?
think
No.
so.
I don't think so with Canelo because he already had losses.
He only had one. Well, he had one on record. I think he deserved at least one more when it comes to the first two
Triple
fights.
G.
Yeah, one of those fights. But overall, the loss doesn't actually. I think
once you build that fan base and you go on a streak of wins, them losses don't really.
No,
I mean,
and I think I almost think to your
if you
point,
lose early, then it's gonna hurt your reputation. But if you
how?
I feel like if you build a lot of wins and you finally get a loss, it won't hurt you. You already cemented your legacy for me.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I think in the end, in boxing, I think even at the risk of challenging Mayweather's record or my appeal to or my opinion of him, when you do lose, your career is much more liberated because you can't be chasing undefeated anymore. Now, for you to have that zeal, the only thing, the other things you could chase are, maybe that
titles,
those
belts.
titles,
Yeah.
and the money. But and then your reputation, if you want to be considered the best, you've already got a loss. So there's nobody who would really make you concerned about having another loss. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll go after that. You know what I mean? Like you look at the amount of losses Pacquiao had before he became an all-time great. I mean, he had a few on his record. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't stop him. To your point, TJ, once he started getting the volume of wins and once those belts and once those big name fights came, it didn't do anything to his record.
And it don't hurt that you got a whole country behind you.
Right.
Yeah, but I think part of boxing's problem today too, man, is too much hype, it's too commercialized. It seems a little bit like the Al Haymans and the LRBs and all of them guys, the promoters or whatever. See, that's where the focus seems to be at now, and not on the fighters themselves. You get what I'm trying to tell you?
That's what I was saying.
It's too many belts.
But hang on a second. You're also pointing out something that we could make the case in, say, the NBA with the storylines versus the actual product, what's being pushed, and why they said, for verbatim, why Brian Scalabrine said they don't talk about Miami as far as the Heat because they didn't have the storylines to go with because the team's too tight-knit and quiet. But so if the promoters are there to do exactly that, promote their guy, that is literally their role. So the more people that tune in to create those storylines, Shakur Stevenson's last tweet was, "You want the media annoying. You want me and Buddy to beef so bad." Well, that's our point here, is it not? Like that's unfortunately how they're trying to create.
But I'm talking about the promoters and the procrastination, like what Gully said earlier about when the Floyd Mayweather and the Pacquiao fight should have took place. I said the same thing to Rick, Gully. I was like, man, timing is everything. If they'd have fought in 2009, that would have been. He said, and then when it didn't happen, he said, man, they're just trying to hype it up more. I said, man, how much more hype can you get than them two guys coming together?
I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I think Mayweather pushed. I think Mayweather was able to find excuses not to fight him is because if Mayweather had fought Pacquiao in 2009, why would we need to see him fight Cotto in 2013, Mosley in 2012, Robert Guerrero in 2010, Andre Berto? Like, why do we even need to see him fight Marcos Maidana? Like, none of those fights matter. And that's because that's the problem with boxing's alphabet titles and their promoters. There was no one great for him to get a payday after Pacquiao. And in the 6 years from the first time they fought, the only fighter that really arose to be able to make that type of money was Canelo Alvarez. That's why he fought him so young. Because there was nobody else there to fight. And Mayweather had already ran through all the money guys. Because I'm telling you, if you just saw him beat Pacquiao and then the way it went down, would you really have wanted him to fight Cotto? You would expect him to fight.
I would have.
But
I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, I get your point.
It's always gonna be all right. Well, he didn't beat him. Well, the next person. Who the next person? All right, Cotto.
Yeah, but
It's always gonna be the next up,
Cotto
man.
wasn't the draw that Pacquiao was. Nobody after that.
But let's talk about boxing though. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about the draw. I'm a fan. If I'm a fan, I don't care about who coming out to watch or pay for this. I want to see it happen.
But how many boxing fans are there as opposed to people who say I just went to the Tyson fight?
Jay, I'm looking at the lightweight. Well, is that a problem with the venues? Is that a problem with the prices?
Yeah, UFC got it right because UFC got it right because I feel like they follow the WWE model of securing their talent, but putting their top tier talent in situations where they're usually fighting other top tier talent. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. The only reason to make it make sense while we are begging boxing to put the best two fighters in the ring all the time, we're always begging for it to happen because it rarely happens. It's because the money's in the way. The money's in the way of fighters being able to needing to fight each other to get the pure payday.
But they don't.
But didn't you hear what DJ said about UFC and as it pertains to paying people? That pay scale is very lopsided versus those same boxers you're referring to, where you can get that second tier, can make first tier money. In the UFC, that's not happening.
But these dudes in boxing don't understand, man. You will not attain no legendary status unless you fight these people. I don't care what you fight, how much money it is. You gotta beat the best people to raise your status and to raise your pay, man. That's simple.
But the lightweight division right now, I've never been more enamored, I would say, than maybe within the last 22 years than I am with it right now at its depth. And there's a bunch of guys that these fights should be happening, and they're simply put, they're not. And as you see, the boxers themselves are not cooperating with creating the storylines or the narratives to be able to increase the hype. But just on paper, looking at the depth of that particular weight class, it's at the best it's been in quite some time. And yet here we are, and we're not even seeing these guys. There's
like the Devin Haney and Tank, they won't fight each other. Is Tank scared of Haney?
Nah, but who else after those two?
What
in that division?
It don't matter. This is what I'm saying.
It does matter. That's what I'm saying. It does.
Gully, look. Let me say why. All right, boom. They fight, right? And then you saying who else? No. What if that fight is a classic? Okay, now we want to see them fight again. Then what if the other person win? Now we got a 3 round. We got 3 rounds. This is how you make legendary status. You got to fight the best to be in that tier, man.
Yeah, but because of the way
but I don't care about the money as a fan. I care about the competition, man.
But because of the way boxing is structured now, you might not never see a trilogy again.
That's what I'm saying. But y'all get what I'm saying. Like they had to fight each other. I don't care who next. Right now, just beat who's on your plate right now, and that's the top dude.
Is Ryan Garcia doing anything other than training like one of the one of the YouTube guys? Like, I mean, like, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
my boy, Ryan.
Come on, man.
I don't know what's going on with Ryan.
That's a farce. But fellas, we got to wrap things up, unfortunately, because was all into this. We really made this a show. And TJ, you did that. You was wrong for that because this wasn't part of our boxing segment.
Actually, I was right for that. You had all type of fans chiming in and everything. See what I'm saying? I made the fight. I made the fight for you.
You're making
it's
my
a
face
classic now, baby.
It should have happened in 2009.
All right, TJ, we got to pick a day and time for the what would we call it? The TJ double J.
Just run some. We have run some ideas. You got my number now, so we have figured it out.
Yeah, it's numbers 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2.
No, it's 4 and 6, but we about to be 5 and 6 after this season.
Wait. Hold on. What the king wants, the king gets. Last year, he asked us when he got that roster together to keep that same energy. And what the king wants, that's what he got. We kept that same energy. Are we doing this again in year 20?
Hang on a second. Year 20. I want to point out there's a new CBA that's going to be coming up in year 21.
Oh, don't discuss it because that's part of next week's stuff.
Well, how am I supposed to know? Look at this.
That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you now.
I don't care about the CBA at the moment.
Oh, hell no.
I'm telling you, the owners are fed up. It's gonna become the NFL.
Double J,
next week's show.
He gotta take his diabetes medicine, his Cialis, his Robitussin. You know what I'm saying? He got y'all tripping. His doctor then got on him 4-5 times in the last month.
Hey, what's that other one called? When a moment's right, you're.
You need to
look,
pineapples.
He's shaking.
You need to take that. You need to take that.
I'm about to go see.
I'm trying to get a word in edgewise. You need to take that tat off. You need to take that tat off.
Oh no!
That little Starburst color. Yeah, there you go. You already know what I'm talking about. That T-shirt you got on. Yeah, you need to take that.
Emotional damage.
Yeah. Anyway, and on that note, I'll leave you with this quote. Wow. One who strives to be perfect is virtually impossible. Better instead to be a man or woman of principle. You get what I'm trying to tell you? It's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out every Sunday at 9 on the PM side, right here on the yard, or on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the shop's Facebook fan page, and of course, YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'd be much obliged. If that don't work, y'all can Google it. For my man, Be Rich, DOC, Doc, Double J, D Gully, who joined us today, Snowman, Cole Johnson, and speaker for the what's that say right there? Let me fix my glasses. I can't really see what's happening. And all those who follow and support us, we say thank you. We didn't even get to be able to get to our Joe Kennedy portion of the program, our football section, because somebody on the with the Starburst colored shirt on wanted to go off and talk about, in Une and everything else when we should have been saving for another show. But anyway, yeah, got you. And all those who follow and support us. I'm Barbershop Jay, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Y'all heard me. Sundays at 9 on the PM side. Same shop time, same shop channel. Holla. Oh, boy.